Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn more about the importance of clinical research. We value your commitment to learning more about your health. My name is Dr. Neil Bhatia. I'm the Director of Clinical Dermatology at Therapeutics Clinical Research in San Diego. Thank you for being with us today to learn more about plaque psoriasis. It is so important for us to increase awareness and understanding of this disease. Today's presentation is intended for informational purposes only. The educational program is sponsored by Takeda Development Center Americas. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Dr. Neil Bhatia. I'm Director of Clinical Dermatology at Therapeutics Clinical Research. We are based in San Diego, California. We're going to start with a quick pre-survey. Please complete the paper version that will be shared with you, or you can open the camera on your phone and scan the QR code that's shown. Let's start with learning more about a clinical research study. So what is a clinical research study? Clinical research study, also called clinical trial, is run by doctors who are responsible for the study participants' study-related care. It is designed to investigate a drug, a medical device, or a procedure to test. The test will look to see if it is safe, how it works in the body, if it works to treat a specific disease. Clinical research study drugs are called investigational drugs because government organizations, such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, have not yet approved the drug for use with a particular condition, disease, or patient population. In the United States, the FDA requires several phases of clinical research be performed to better understand the safety and effectiveness of the drugs being investigated. Without clinical research and volunteer study participants, there would be no new medications. Why diversity matters in clinical research is because drugs can work differently in different people. Diversity is particularly important in clinical research studying a variety of diseases and conditions. Increasing diversity and inclusion in clinical trials leads to better research and is essential to promoting health equity. Clinical research leads to better treatment and health outcomes for all people. Let's discuss clinical trial participation in U.S. demographics. A recent study indicates that U.S.-based psoriasis studies between the years of 2010 and 2020 were the least diverse compared to others, including other dermatological conditions. Only 12.1% of psoriasis studies had 20% diverse representation. 56% were women, 75% were white, 8% were Black, 6% were Asian, 11% were ages 65 and older, 54% were based in the United States. As you can see on this slide, the population of the United States is expected to be more diverse by the year 2060. For example, in 2018, the total Black population accounted for 12.5% of the population. By 2060, it will increase to 13.6%. Clinical research studies for new drugs, called investigational drugs, are done in steps or phases that answer specific questions about the drug that's being tested. Before any testing is done with people, research is conducted in a lab to understand the drug's safety and effectiveness. Based on the results of these preclinical research studies, the drug may move into the phases of human research that are shown here. In phase 1, the new drug is tested in a small group of people for the first time to understand its safety, the safe dosage, and any side effects. In phase 2, the new drug is given to a larger group of people to see if it is effective and to further understand its safety. And in phase 3, the new drug is given to larger groups of people to confirm its effectiveness, to check safety and any side effects, and to compare it to existing treatments. Finally, in phase 4, these studies are done after a new drug is approved by the FDA to provide additional information on the drug's risks, benefits, and best use. So who is involved in a clinical research study? There are several people involved in clinical research. These include the participants, the caregivers, the sponsors, the study sites, the study investigators, the study coordinators, and the institutional review boards, or the IRB. Let's talk about who's the participant in clinical research, the person taking part in the clinical trial. Before joining any clinical trial, all participants, along with their parents, guardians, or caregivers if needed, must go through the informed consent process. during which they will have in-depth conversations with the investigator to learn more about the clinical trial, the risks, and the potential benefits, as well as the research procedures. The caregiver can often be a parent, a spouse, or an adult child. A caregiver is a person who supports another person taking part in a clinical trial if they need help managing some of their healthcare needs. The sponsor is the group who initiates, manages, and funds the clinical trial. This may be a biotechnology or pharmaceutical company, an academic medical center, or another organization, including a government agency. The study site is the medical institution where the clinical trial takes place. This can include a variety of locations, such as hospitals, doctors' offices, or community clinics. The study investigator is a researcher, usually a medical doctor, who is responsible for managing the clinical trial activities and overseeing study participants' study-related care at a medical institution. An investigator is part of the study team, which includes qualified doctors and other healthcare professionals who provide study-related care and closely monitor the health of each study participant. The study coordinator is a researcher who supports the management and coordination of clinical trials. The study coordinator is a part of the study team, which includes qualified doctors and other healthcare professionals who provide study-related care and closely monitor the health of each study participant. The IRB, or Institutional Review Board, is a committee of independent doctors, nurses, and members of the community who help review and monitor clinical research to ensure the welfare, privacy, and rights of study participants are protected. Outside of the United States, this committee is known as an ethics committee, or the EC. So why do people choose to take part in clinical research? People choose to participate in clinical trials for many different reasons, including helping themselves and others by adding knowledge about a certain disease and potential treatment option, potential access to an investigational treatment or drug, additional clinical research study-related care, monitoring, and tests from study doctors and nurses. Many different reasons to participate. But are there risks in taking part in a clinical research study? The risks can vary depending on the clinical research study. The known and possible risks will be fully explained by a clinical research study doctor. If new risks are found during the ongoing clinical research study, the doctor will inform the participant. Study participants may not experience a direct benefit from their investigational drug. Their condition may improve, worsen, or stay the same. So what should a person consider before taking part in a clinical research study? Potential participants should learn as much as they can about the clinical research trial. Ask the study members any questions they may have and discuss the clinical research study with their doctor. Possible questions to ask include: what is being tested in this clinical research study? What are the potential risks to my health? How long will this clinical research study last? What are the time and travel related commitments? And what types of testing are required? What is informed consent is another important question. Before joining any clinical research study, all potential participants must go through the informed consent process. During this process, participants have the right to be informed as to why the clinical research study is being done, what will be required of them, any possible risks, discomforts, or side effects that may occur, and how the study team will protect their personal data and health information. What rights do participants have in clinical research studies? Potential participants always choose whether or not to participate in a clinical research study. They must be given enough time to make their decision without any pressure from the study team. And they have the right to stop participating in a clinical research study at any time and for any reason without any effect on their routine medical care. Now let's learn a little bit more about plaque psoriasis. Psoriasis is an immune-mediated skin disorder in which the immune system becomes overactive. It is a chronic disorder, which means it lasts a long time. It causes a rapid increase in skin cell production, making new skin cells in days instead of in weeks. The cells pile up on the surface of the skin, forming raised, scaly plaques and inflamed plaques of skin, and the inflammation caused can impact other organs and tissues in the body. There are several different types of psoriasis that affect the skin. The most common form is plaque psoriasis. Plaque psoriasis can be recognized by large, oval circle plaques of raised, reddish skin covered with white or silvery scale. Most are found over the scalp, the trunk, elbows, knees, and the lower back, but severe cases can infect the entire body. Most importantly, psoriasis can affect people from all backgrounds. Some of the signs and symptoms of psoriasis again, are the dry and elevated plaques on the skin, the reddish skin covered with white or silvery scale. Itching, pain, and irritation are also very common, as well as cracks that occur in the skin. About 80% to 90% of individuals with psoriasis have plaque stage psoriasis. What does plaque psoriasis look like in different skin types? Well, on lighter skin, psoriasis tends to be red or pink, and the scale is silvery white. On darker skin types, psoriasis tends to be salmon, violet, or dark brown, and the scale is grayish. In darker skin, the psoriasis can also be difficult to see because people with darker skin types might experience thicker or more scaly plaques. The diagnosis is important as the darker patches and plaques on the skin that represent post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, they can actually be downgraded as being clear. The study suggests that the psychological impact can be worse for patients of color. Plaque psoriasis is diagnosed by a healthcare provider or a dermatologist, a medical doctor who specializes in conditions that affect the skin, hair, and the nails. The doctor will look at your skin and review your symptoms. The doctor might offer a skin biopsy test to confirm the diagnosis if necessary. Diagnosing plaque psoriasis with this test, the doctor will remove a small sample of skin, the tissue will come from your skin and be examined under the microscope. Next, let's talk about the LATITUDE psoriasis studies. This study is being conducted by Takeda Pharmaceuticals. There is a lot of information available online, so please check and visit this website, www.latitudepsoriasis.com, all one word. To learn more, or you can open the camera on your phone and scan the QR code that's shown. So as we begin to conclude, here's a summary of what we have covered today. A clinical research study is run by doctors to study if a drug, medical device, or procedure is safe, how it works in the body, and how it works to treat a specific disease. Clinical research studies for investigational drugs are done in steps or phases. Each clinical phase has a different purpose and helps the study researchers answer specific questions about the drug being tested. Diversity in clinical research will lead to better research and health outcomes for everyone. Plaque psoriasis is a chronic inflammatory disease that can cause itchy, scaly plaques on the skin. People with psoriasis often report burning, itching, and stinging, and psoriasis can appear anywhere on the body, but it is most commonly found on the knees, elbows, and the scalp. Most importantly, psoriasis can affect people from all backgrounds. We will conclude with a quick post-survey. Please complete the paper version that will be shared with you, or you can open the camera on your phone and scan the QR code that's shown. We welcome and value your feedback on today's presentation. Thank you all for being a part of this important discussion to increase awareness and understanding about the importance of clinical research. Once again, thank you and have a great day.